Good morning. Good morning, dear student. We are discussing the story A Cup of Tea, written by Catherine Mansfield. And yesterday we have discussed some psychic or inner self of the protagonist of this particular story, Rosemary Fell. As far as her life is concerned, she is very beautiful. We cannot say she is very beautiful because the author calls her pretty, because as we peep into her inner selves, we will not get any so-called the emotions and feeling generally beautiful persons has. So we have seen her temperament, her life, her brief information about her husband, her parties, and how she the inner self, and how she is very imperative, and how she likes to spend extra money on the luxuries of the world. So today we are going to discuss the incident that happens in her life. One winter afternoon, she had been buying something in the little antique shop in Curzon Street. Antique shop means the shop in which we get the antique piece, antique things that are not used in daily life, but that very precious, very costly, because the history that particular things that has historical backgrounds, are they have some historical values. Such things are called antique things, and the shop selling that antique things are called antique shop. That shop is situated in Curzon Street, and she goes there to buy something. It was shop she liked because it was very short, because as far as her habits, daily habits, she wants to get each and everything that he wants, that he likes, and she always wanted to buy. And one of that, the antiques shop, was her favorite shop. That was situated in Curzon Street. Just underline it. It was a shop she liked. For one thing, one usually had it to oneself. Then the man who kept it was ridiculously fond of serving her, as she was very much fond of buying the antique pieces at any cost that a shopkeeper suggests. That's why that shopkeeper also likes her very much, because she is her most favorable buyer, we can say. So he always welcome her. That's why she also likes that, because that we may say that shopkeeper may be very always do or flatter her that she is very good, she is very good looking, and she always she has that much liking for the antique piece. That type of flattery he must have done to her always. That's why the woman generally likes flattery. So she also likes that particular shop for the antique piece, as well as that shopkeeper. The man, he beamed means shine. He beamed whenever she come in. He clasped his hand. He was so gratified he could scarcely speak. Flattery, of course, all the same, there was something. And he always tried to tempt her customer with flattery. That is the we can say the business of that shopkeeper, and he always anyhow wanted to flatter a customer that may help him to sell his products. And that's the, we can say, that is the daily habits of that particular shopkeeper. And any shopkeeper must have that particular habit, how to tempt your customer while doing her their flattery or whatever they like. and he has to speak the words that his customer likes, and Rosemary Pell was one of them. He always do flattery to her, and that's why she also likes that shop very much. And today, on that winter season, that winter afternoon, she goes there to buy something, and at that time, yes, he flatters her, and because of that flattery, she also tempted to buy something extra. You see, madam. You see, madam, he would explain in his low, respectful tones. This is the very grateful habits of any shopkeeper. They always wanted to tempt with their graceful speaking, with their graceful behavior with the customer. I love my things. I would rather not part with them than sell them to someone who does not appreciate them, who has not the fine feeling which is so rare. And breathing deeply, he unrolled a teeny square of blue velvet and pressed it on the glass counter with his pale fingertips. This is very good ideas any shopkeeper should have. And what does he say? Yeah, you see, madam. Just you observe, madam. I would explain in his. He would explain in his low, respectful tones. Any shopkeeper must give some respect to the customer because he has to sell his products. And what does he say? I love my things. He has many more antique pieces in his shop, but any shopkeeper doesn't want to retain that goods or that products in his shop, because he is there to sell his product. But what does he say? I love my thing. I would rather not part with them. I would rather not part with them mean I would not like to be apart from them. I would never like to give them to someone than sell them to someone who does not appreciate them. I have the antique shop and I have much more antique piece in my possessions, but I would never like to part with them if anybody is there who never appreciate them. If anybody is there who appreciate, who has feelings about the antique piece, who really likes, who really adores that antique piece, I would rather like to part with my things. But if anybody is there who doesn't have any likings for the antique piece like these beautiful goods, I would never give that particular product to them. So he always try to trace his feeling about his goods that he has in his shop. But as we generally observe in our society, any shopkeeper, if he get some extra money or much more cost for his goods, he will always sell. He even doesn't matter whether that particular person buying that particular product is appreciating that particular thing or destroying that particular thing. It doesn't matter to any shopkeeper because he is there to sell his product. But as far as he has much more tricked how to tempt the customer, now how to get the extra sum or how to get the extra price for his product, he has that much skill. That's why he says, see madam, if I never want to be part from my antique pieces, but the person like you is very much I like that you have that appreciation for the antique piece and you have that liking, you have that keen observation, you have that feelings toward the antique piece. That's why I wanted to give you that all thing, because that's why I want to show you that all thing that I never personally want to be part from them until and unless I get the customer like you. This is the statement given by, or this is the temptation, this is the rather respectful speech given by that shopkeeper to the Rosemary Pell. This is only trick to how to tempt your customer. But as far as Rosemary Pell is concerned, she is very open-minded, we can say. She is very tentative, she is very fascinated by his speech and wanted to see what is there new to buy. And what was and breathing deeply. Breathing deeply means and in this way he unroll a teeny square of blue velvet. Just if we have any antique piece and we generally don't put them aside or in dust, we just preserve that particular thing by wrapping with cloths or by wrapping with preservator or by wrapping with we generally wrap that particular thing, and he has wrapped that particular thing with blue velvet cloth or blue velvet and a teeny square, that is very short, very small box, and he has wrapped that box with blue velvet and press it. Just he unroll that teeny square of blue velvet and press it on the glass counter with his pale fingertip, and just very gracefully he put that particular piece in front of that customer, in front of that rosemary pale. Means it is very graceful, we can say very graceful technique how to put your product in front of your customer. If you throw it, that their minimum value will be reduced, but if you press, if you put that particular thing very gracefully, that it means that that particular product is very costly, very delicate. That suggests the way of you are putting that product in front of others, your customers, that decide the cost of that particular set. If you go any jewelry shop, you never seen that just you go at any cloth shop, that they throw just up cloth at yourself, but as you go to the jewelry shop, they never throw that their goods towards their customer. Just put them very gracefully in front of their customer and try to explain the features and their we can say their values and their features and their characteristic, their each and everything about that particular product. They always try to explain with gracefully in front of your customer, and that the same trick that particular shopkeeper has, and that is his behavior. He has very respectful behavior, his graceful nature is a way of putting the product in front of his customer is very graceful, and that because of that the rosemary peel is also tempted, and she just very eager to observe that particular product and how costly that particular cost made that product may be. She is thinking about that, and she is very eager to observe that particular product. So what happens next? Today it was a little box. He had been keeping it for her. He had shown it to nobody as yet, an exquisite little enamel box with a glaze so fine it looked as though it had been baked in cream. On the lid, a minute creature stood under the flowery tree. A more minute creature still had her arm round his neck. Her hat, really no bigger than the geranium petal, hung from the branches. It had green ribbons, and there was a pink cloud like the watchful cherub floating above their heads. Rosemary took her hands out of her long gloves. She always took off her gloves to examine such things. Yes, she liked it very much. She loved it. It was a great duck, and she must have it. And turning the creamy box, opening and shutting it, she couldn't help noticing how charming her hands were against the blue velvet. The shopman, in some dim cavern of his mind, may have dared to think so, too, for he took a pencil, leaned over the counter, and his pale, bloodless finger crept timidly towards those rosy, flashing ones, and he murmured gently, "If I may venture to point out you, madam, the flower on the little lady's bodies." And this is the very wonderful or very beautiful description about that particular box. And what that is, enamel box. He just put forward in front of rosemary peel, that is little enamel box, and the curving on that particular box is very graceful. So And exquisite means very graceful little enamel box with the glaze so fine it look as though it has been baked in cream. Just as very creamy, we can say the color of that particular box is very creamy and it is very delicate, a very beautiful box. And on that box, on the lid, a minute creature stood under the flowery tree. On that very teeny box, there has been carved the teeny creature standing behind, standing beneath the tree, still had under the flowery tree, and that tree also has the much more very beautiful flowers. More minute creature still had her arm around his. On the teeny box there is also my creature that has her arm around his neck. Her hat really no bigger than geranium petal. Geranium petal, you know, geranium is also the type of plant, very rosy plant, we can say. The very beautiful flowers are grown there, very beautiful flowers. Geranium petal, yes, that geranium is like our rose. That petals, that particular hat of that particular creature is like the geranium petal hanging from the branch. It has been ribbon, it had green ribbon, and there was a pink cloud like the watchful cherub. Cherub means like we can say little angel. We generally their hand we generally see the bow and arrow. Such type of little angels are there. And the watchful cherub floating above their head. Rosemary took her hand out of her long gloves. Gloves means generally a woman wears gloves to protect their hand from the sun and to protect their hand from the cold. She always took off her gloves to examine such thing because it is very antique piece, and we have to examine very keenly their features and their all the so she always took off her gloves to examine such thing. Yes, she liked it very much. She loved it. It was a great duck. Great ducks means it was very appreciable. It was very beautiful piece that she must buy it. She must have it. Turning the creamy box, opening and shutting it, she couldn't help noticing how charming her hands were against the blue velvet. And she, as she was also very beautiful, and her hand were against the beautiful. And while observing that particular teeny box, she observed her hand, and in her hand that box was looking very beautiful. Beside that box, her hands were also looking very beautiful, and that is very charming situation are created there. So the shopman, in some dim cavern of his mind, cavern means we can say the long caves, deep caves. The dim cavern of his mind may have dared to think so. For he took pains, he leaned over his counter. He just between the Rosemary and that shopkeeper, between them there is a counter, very beautiful counter. He just leaned on that counter, and his pale boundless finger crept timidly towards those rosy and flashing ones. He murmured gently, "If I may venture." Venture means dare to do something very dreadful thing. "If I may venture to point out to madam the flower on the little lady's bodies." Bodies means the upper part of the lady, that is covered with the covering of upper part of the ladies. And generally nobody particularly I think no man would generally suggest the bodies to observe the bodies of that particular girl. Okay, but that particular shopkeeper wants to suggest that you may also, ma'am, observe the beautiful flower on the bodies of that particular girl. It is, he thinks he never dare to do that thing, but she observed that flower also, and very beautiful flower is there. Flowers are there on the bodies of that particular girl, curved on that particular enamel box. Okay, this is brief information about that enamel box. That particular box is very antique, very beautiful, very graceful, and she just love it and wants to buy it. Okay, dear student, remaining part of the story we will take tomorrow. Thank you.